Okay, everybody. This is the summary to the ultimate acrylic yarn comparison. You get to see me again, and I apologize for the grimy clothes and the messy hair. I have a bunch of restoration stuff I'm doing today. But anyway, let's talk about yarn and the comparison. So this was a really fun and interesting project for me. I kind of didn't really know what to expect the outcome to be. The reason why I did it is I have people I want to do gift knits for, but I want to make sure that whatever I'm giving them actually, is still high quality, but easy to care for. Uh, for instance, if I give something to my brother-in-law, I want to make sure that it's not extra work for his wife to have to, make sure it doesn't go in the dryer, things like that. But I want it to look nice for a long time because it's obviously a lot of work for me, and I want it to be a nice gift. I don't want it to be a hat that I give him that then the next year it's like, oh yeah, the hat's kind of grimy looking, and it's an opportunity for me to make another one, but that feels kind of wasteful. So that was kind of my intent behind it. And then halfway through this process, I found out my sister was pregnant and having a baby. And I obviously then had even more reason to want to know what was going to be durable. And then I also had to start thinking about, well, what chemicals have been used on these yarns? I don't want to expose my new, I know now, I found out last week, it's a niece. I'm going to have a niece. I don't want to expose her to chemicals and everything, especially since reproductive disorders run in my family. So there was a lot of reason for me to want to try and find out what yarns were the best. And of course, obviously, best is a running scale. But that was my intent behind it. All the swatching was a lot of work, and that was really annoying. I felt like I didn't finish any projects for frickin' forever. Because in case you forgot, I knit every swatch twice and I crocheted it once because I wanted to see how different it was knit versus crochet. Like the project just kept building and building and building, and it became this huge thing, such that even now I started with 20 yarns and I already have like 3 different yarns I want to follow up with to include in the comparison. Because again, with my sister having a baby, worrying about chemicals in yarn, I originally had avoided Red Heart Super Saver because it wasn't the OKEO Tech certified. But they recently changed that. It now is. So I bought some of that. I have to include that in the comparison. Premier Yarn released their Basics yarn, which is like a value yarn version of their Everyday. Obviously have to include that. So the project is still even ongoing. This isn't even the end. Like, at this point, I've washed everything 15 times. I feel comfortable saying what's durable. I feel comfortable saying what's soft. But, how is it going to look at 30 washes? I'm going to keep washing them and see. And then how do these new yarns I want to add play in? So that's where running a yarns review blog, I'm always going to have yarns to review, and it's going to be this huge thing. And now that I'm swatching everything as part of that process, I'm actually doing less project knitting than I want to be. But anyway, now I'm ranting. Okay, so where we are going next here, in this blog post and on another page, it's going to become a static page on my blog. I am putting together a huge table. In it is going to be every yarn in this comparison, and I will continue to add new yarns to it. So even if, this comparison's over, as I continue to evaluate new yarns through my regular review process, I'll add them in so you can compare them all. The table is going to have information on their price per yard, so you know how affordable they are. It's going to have some information on ply and care instructions. I'm going to be coming up with a 1 to 10 ranking system for availability, softness, workability, and durability. My usual 4 points that I write my reviews on. And based on the combination of availability, price, softness, workability, durability, I'm going to come up with an overall ranking. The overall ranking is going to be weighted because obviously I don't want price and availability to have the same impact as durability and softness. So the percentages for the weighting is going to be 10% on price, 10% on availability, 30% softness, 30% workability, or no, 20% workability, and durability is 30%. So for me, I consider durability and softness to be the most important categories, because of sensitive skin, how long it's going to last. Workability is really important to me, but definitely less so. So that's how I came up with those weights. So this chart is going to have all of that information. It's going to have links to where you can purchase it, and it's going to be sortable. So even though I care more about softness and durability, maybe you only care about, the price. You can sort it by price, see which one's cheapest. Maybe you really care about workability more than I do, and if so, then you are picky. You can sort by that if you want. I'm trying to compile the data so that it's useful for people who don't necessarily have the same criteria that I do in terms of yarn purchasing. And so that brings me to how I feel about all this. It was really interesting because even though all of these were 100% acrylic yarns, they were all really pretty different. There were only a few that felt the same and everything, because even with a 4-ply yarn, it can be so much different than another 4-ply yarn. Anti-pilling can be very different from the regular stuff. If it's a 3-ply versus a 4-ply, you have a completely different look and feel. Like, of all of these yarns, they all still seemed very different and distinct. Like, I honestly would be curious to see if I could pick out an acrylic yarn now, just if you gave me a swatch. Because, like, the Cascade Yarns North Shore, it's a 4-ply yarn, like a bunch of these are, but it is so very, very different for whatever reason. And so for that reason, I thought I was going to come up with like a couple like absolute hands down best yarns, but instead I ended up realizing that all of these yarns, because they are so different, are really good for different things. I hated the stiffness of Impeccable, but it's really durable, and the stiffness will be, really useful if you're one of those people that likes to crochet stuffed animals, things like that. Versus, KC Smooth. This is really soft and drapey and perfect for garments, but you couldn't use it for a stuffed animal. It just wouldn't be the same. So instead of having a best yarn or best yarns, it's kind of more what yarns are good for what thing. And I don't want to get into that in detail, but in my blog post where I'm going to have this video, I'll have kind of what I would recommend it for. Obviously going to be very politically correct on that one, because all these yarns have their use case and purpose, even if I necessarily wouldn't buy them. And that's something that's going to be lower down in the blog post is, okay, let's be honest, what am I actually going to buy? So in terms of what would I actually buy again, if I really had to choose like yarns I would be happy buying again, it would probably be, these 4. KC Smooth, because the drape on this is amazing. I have not seen anything else like it. I still have to, figure out if it's really more breathable than a regular acrylic, so I want to make a sweater in this soon. But that's one. Premier Everyday Anti-Pilling is obviously a winner. Joy Decay, although, Michaels, please make this in more colors. Pretty please. Like, I like this yarn, but you don't have the color selection I want. Lion Brand Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling. Those would be my 4 go-tos for most things, because a lot of these are available in multiple weights. Like, the Premier Everyday is available in chunky weight, in worsted weight. This is their DK weight. This is unfortunately DK only. This is light worsted. This is light worsted. I might, as much as I don't like working with it, I might buy Impeccable just because it is super durable. And again, my sister's having a baby. Lots of good use for that. I have mixed feelings about the Willow Wash because I've mentioned in other videos, it seems they may have changed manufacturer, and I don't know if I'm going to get this quality consistently. Because this is amazing, this skein from Turkey that I got. I love it. I didn't like working with Cascade yarn nor short either, but the way that this softened up after washing is just so amazing. For a small project, I would consider it. In terms of what I really wouldn't buy, I'm sorry, nitpicks. I would never buy Brava. This still just didn't soften up enough. It squeaked, and so it doesn't meet my workability standards or my softest standards. So sorry, nitpicks fans. I would never buy this yarn again. There are some yarns that I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way for just because they're harder to acquire. And by harder, and this is part of what goes into my availability ranking that's going to be in the chart, is if it's something that I can get today, it's in a store, that's going to have a better availability ranking than something that I can only buy online. And something that I can buy online at multiple places is going to have a better score than something I can buy online only at one place. Like, for instance, you can only get Knitpicks Brava online at Knitpicks, and they have a shipping minimum that is really high. So there's a barrier to entry there that is not there ordering something online at Joann's, where you get free shipping regularly. And so for, again, barrier to entry availability, all these yarns from Lovecrafts, the Paint Box, the Shashamire, the King Cole, and the Stylecraft, although these are some great yarns, I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to go get them. Lovecrafts, if they offer free shipping, sure. But since it's not readily available to me, I probably wouldn't really buy these all that often. I would consider buying Caron Simply Soft again in the future if it was on sale. Again, wouldn't really go out of my way for it unless there was a good deal. Same with Lion Brand jeans. And I might buy the Big Twist Value again if I know there's something that I don't need to be super durable. Like, again, some baby items need to be durable, but babies grow really fast, and so there are some items that not so much that I might use it for. I would not buy Red Heart Soft again. It was squeaky, and it's not at least this skein, and not on the website as of a month ago. Not OKEO text, however it goes, certified, so chemical concerns. I wouldn't really buy Lion Brand Basic Stitch Premium. I don't understand what's premium about it, especially compared to the anti-pilling. And the color selection is different too, so I wouldn't really buy that one. I wouldn't really buy Caron 1 Pound either. It just doesn't have the durability I want, and it's stiff. Like, if I'm going to work with a stiff yarn, I'm going with Impeccable because it's durable. Hobby Lobby I kind of have mixed feelings on because it was doing so well in the durability test for a while, and it worked up so nicely. Like, I would probably buy this over the Big Twist Value because it's got better durability, but it worked up as nice. Anyway, and then Poor Softy Chunky was the only bulky yarn in this category, or in this comparison, at least for now. Because I can obviously, there's some other bulky yarns from other brands that I can include. So it really hasn't been fair to this yarn in terms of comparing it, because it's never going to feel the same in terms of softness because it's a bigger stitch. It's never going to be the same in terms of workability because although it's super nice and easy for beginners to knit with a chunky yarns usually hurt my hands, especially when they're stiffer acrylics. So for me, I have a whole bunch of this. So I'm going to make a blanket in, and maybe when I'm done making the blanket and do my final review on the blog, I'll have a more defined opinion of it. But so that's all the yarn. That's the comparison. I hope you looked for the chart. I can't actually put it in the page that this video is going to go in, and if you're on YouTube, go find it. But it's going to be big. I've tried to make it mobile friendly for those of you who do stuff on your phone instead, but it probably will be easiest to view on a desktop. So sorry about that, but there's a lot of data there. So this is basically the end. It's not the end because, like I said, there's a couple yarns I'm going to add. All future yarn reviews are going to go in this chart. I'm going to be, I've decided that it's after 30 washes that I'll update everybody on the durability again. So from here, the question is what comparison comes next. If there's a bunch of yarns that you want included in this comparison, let me know. The yarns that get the most votes or whatever, I'll consider including them next. Again, I'm already going to do Red Heart Super Saver and Premier Yarns Basic. Those two for sure are coming. Be patient. But then I've been thinking that maybe I should do, like, this was 100% acrylics, but maybe acrylic wool blends, something that would cover like Lion Brand woolies. I've been thinking polyester yarns would be really fun, but there aren't very many polyester yarns. I can think of like two. I think one is from Red Heart, and then the other one is the Feels Like Butter from Lion Brand. So if you have suggestions for polyester yarns, I would be interested in doing that. I was thinking maybe a bulky yarn only with no restrictions on fiber type, so then you can get, your Bernat blanket in there. Anyway, lots of ideas for what could come next. If you have suggestions, please let me know. You can reach me on my blog. You can reach me on Facebook. You can comment on YouTube videos. I don't check a lot of them regularly, but I will see it eventually. So that's it. I hope you really enjoyed this. And if this was helpful to you in any way, I have links on my blog that if you click through to purchase your yarn through them, I get a commission. It helps pay for all my time that I put into this because it's been or I set up a Ko-Fi account. I'm really new there, but apparently you can buy me a coffee to help, show me that you appreciated all this. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you another time. Bye.